I am going to show you how to make mini pocket critters. Snake, squirrel, mouse. And these were made by students. Little dog, pig. You can start with your felt, draw right on top of it with chalk or a pencil, or you can cut out your own template from a cereal box, set it on top of 2 pieces of felt, and start tracing. When you finish tracing around the template, cut out. When you cut out the felt, you're going to cut through 2 pieces. Cutting through felt is a little bit trickier than cutting through paper. If you just make small, tiny cuts, the scissors will cut through the felt. But if you try to make one big sweeping cut like you would on paper, then the felt is just going to fold on you. So go slow, take your time cutting out the felt. When you are finished cutting out the 2 pieces, you can slide the one with the markings to the back so that the markings will be hidden. Then thread your needle. You need to get the thread through the needle eye. This can be a little tricky to do, so I'll show you how I use my fingers to push the thread through the needle line and I pull on the other side. One trick you can use to help you thread the needle: cut out a small rectangle from paper, fold it in half the long way, and use this to help you slide the thread through the needle. And I like to call these paper tacos. Slide the thread right inside the paper sleeve. Make sure that the thread is not sticking out on the front. It needs to be tucked in all the way inside the little paper sleeve. You need to press close that paper sleeve like this. Pinch it so that it will fit through the needle eye. If it's wide open, it's not going to fit. So pinch it close. Now find the needle eye and slide your little paper taco right through. Pull it on the other side. In doing so, we'll slide the thread inside that needle eye. The short side of the thread gets no knot, and the needle doesn't get a knot around it either. On the longer side of the thread, make a knot. Start out with a loop, letter O, grab that tail end of the thread and slide it underneath and through the loop. Pull it from the other side. Here's the knot. Slide the knot towards the end of the thread. You want the knot as close to the end of the thread as possible. Now you're ready to stitch. I'm going to start stitching on the inside of the felt so that the knot is hidden, it's tucked away inside. I'm going to make what's called a whip stitch around the turtle. I'm going to start on the right side or on the bottom side. I'm going to punch the needle through for my stitch. When it pulls through, I wrap my fingers around that thread so it doesn't slide out from the needle. And I pull it until the knot keeps the thread from continuing. If you're not careful and you grab the needle and pull on the needle, there's a chance that your thread is going to slide out completely from your needle. Then you will have to stop your stitching and re-thread the needle. That uses up a lot of time. So instead of grabbing the needle when you pull the stitch through, take a moment to pause, pull the needle, wrap your fingers around that thread, or pinch the thread and then pull the stitch through. You're going to stitch all the way around to about here. Leave a small opening to stuff the sea turtle right before you stitch it close. When you have about a hand's length left of thread, start making a knot. You make a knot by going back to your last stitch, sliding the needle underneath the stitch. When this little loop starts to form right here, fly your needle right through it. Scoop it up. Do that twice. Here's the last little stitch with the first knot. Slide the needle underneath the stitch. When that little loop starts to form there, scoop it up with your needle and pull the thread tight. That makes a little knot, and you can cut off the excess thread. Make sure not to cut on the knot or it'll unravel. Now you can start with a new thread. Thread the needle, no knot on the short end, no knot around the needle. Look for the longer part of the thread and make a knot on this end. Loop, put the tail through the loop and pull tight. There's the knot, and start stitching again. Open up the felt, stitch from the inside out so that this tail gets hidden, and then start working on the whip stitch again from the front to the back. With each stitch, the thread is going to wrap around the edge of the felt, creating this nice look. From the front to the back, front to back. When you have a small amount of felt left to stitch, start stuffing your little pocket critter. You can use something as simple as plastic bags, or you can get fancy with fiber fill. That's what I'm going to use for this sea turtle, fiber fill. Gonna pause my stitching. Here's the fiber fill. I'm gonna take a small amount at a time to stuff each little crevice, like the head of the sea turtle, the little arms or fins. Once you're satisfied with how fluffy your little critter is, you can start stitching it close. Just pinch the felt together so that you can get a nice work surface. When you finish stitching the turtle or your mini pocket critter all the way, remember to make a knot so that it doesn't unravel. Look for the last stitch, slide the needle underneath the stitch, and when that little loop forms, pick up that loop with your needle and pull it tight. Do that twice. Slide your needle underneath the last stitch. Look for that little loop and fly your needle right through it. Then pull your thread tight so that it makes a knot. Trim the excess thread. Careful not to cut the knot off. And now you have your needle, your little pocket critter, and you're ready to decorate the surface. To decorate the surface of your mini pocket critter, you can either use thread to outline the features or fabric paint to add more details, or you can glue on different pieces of felt. Here's another one with different pieces of felt, a little carrot. You can also combine felt and fabric paint. For this turtle, I'm going to cut out the shape of the shell for the back. And instead of sewing it, which would take me some time to do, I'm going to glue it on there. Going to use some fabric glue. Now I'm going to use some fabric paint to draw the pattern. Draw the eyes with fabric paint as well. Now I'm going to let it dry for 24 hours.